Hey, the other day I was watching a Mob Swamp video about a cyberpunk city, and it got me thinking. What if I were to make my own cyber city? What would it look like? I was curious, so I chose this first building for the first thing that I made, and I started. First I have these 4 pillars, which I'm going to texture with iron, bone blocks, and I think there's some concrete in there, powdered concrete. And here I'm just trying to kind of make the little apartments that were in the photo, the reference image. And so I actually ended up using some trap doors for the design on the windows, which I thought the design was really clean. I liked it a lot, and it matches the color wave. There you can see the texturing a little bit better. One block that not a lot of people use for windows, which I think is kind of underrated, dried kelp blocks. They have that line in the middle, and they're relatively dark, so you can't see the green tint on them, but they do provide a little bit more of that windowy feel. And then there I'm adding a vent with some trapdoors around it, as they did in the reference image. And of course some iron bars coming out of the vent just to attach it and not, seem like it's floating in midair, because in real life things don't do that. I added a little overhang just to add a little bit more of an aesthetic, make it seem more stable. And then I'm hopping onto the second floor with the same design, the same window features, and dried kelp blocks. And then I'm just going to go up with some more trapdoors and try to detail it as much as I can. So one thing I did notice about the reference picture was that it was lit up pretty well, even though it did have red tinted light, which we do not unfortunately have in Minecraft. I thought it was still really cool, and I decided to use some sea lanterns to just light up the area, put it behind some black stained glass so as to not show so much that it distracts, but to light up the area so people can actually see all the detail that I put into this. There I'm adding another vent with, of course, more trapdoors because there's never enough trapdoors. And I think now I'm going to go ahead and start on the third level of this centerpiece of the build. A common theme that you'll see during this video is that I do remove a lot of the things that I've made and alter them in a way that I can actually stand. One thing I actually do really love about this build is that it's a lot of unsynchronization with everything else. It's a lot of individual pieces that bring this whole entire thing together. And I really love how it's not symmetrical at all. So everywhere you look, like I said before, it's unique, it's awesome, and yeah, I just really appreciate this type of aesthetic, this type of build, really in general, and I really hope to make more builds. This is time consuming though, so we'll see if I do have the time to do another build like this, or maybe this is a one-time thing. Maybe I'll do some other building tips, building tutorials, or just me building stuff for other people to see how I do this. And yeah, just hopefully to inspire other people like I was inspired. And yeah. And once more, you see the red terracotta down. I'm gonna actually use terracotta a lot. This is my first build where I actually do use a lot of terracotta, just in personal experience. And then I have that little window back there behind all the black glass panes to really just block out most of the light, and it makes it look pretty mystic. And then I have a little lantern that I'm making right there, just hanging off of the side. I think that really adds a lot to this build, and I really love how it looks. And now I've gone to the top. Since this is supposed to be more of an industrial factory build, I did want to add some sort of life form or something like that to it, just to make it seem less bland. So here I made a little patch of grass with some moss, some grass, coarse dirt, and a tree with some flowers on it, and some vines growing off of it, just for that extra touch of life. And now we're starting on the third section with, once more, the iron gates, and the dried kelp blocks. I decided to use end rods like I used on the other red terracotta, and this time I'm using light gray terracotta. And most of the terracottas I'm using are same color wave as this build, cool colors, black, gray, blue, stuff like that. Maybe some little bit of white in there as well. And then I have bar stools and another overhang over everything with the diorite walls, which I'm using for the first time, one of the first times. And then some iron gates for some more texture. And we are starting once more with the walls. Even though I didn't like that, I took that down immediately after I put the light behind the iron trapdoors. And now I'm starting to use the trapdoors more into outlining the windows more than adding detail to the windows, trying to bring attention to that, and the blocks. And finishing up with the third floor of this second to last section, I have some crimson fences, actually, or not crimson, warped forest fences from the nether that I think fit well in this build, following the cool colors like the white and the blue, kind of in modern terms. I decided to clean up the bottom, make like a little window, and then add a vent at the top left. I'm also adding some walls and some trapdoors just for that extra bit of spice. I'm adding a couple more things, and then we're on to the last section. So here I tried to make an indented, kind of slanted roof to this last part. Didn't work that well. I'll change that later. But for now, I am using another terracotta. I don't know what color that is, with the lodestone in the middle, kind of as a keyhole or something like that, to maybe open the gates to this terracotta. There I am resetting the slanted part that I said I was going to, and then adding another vent to the top right, as I've been doing this entire time, basically. So many vents, oh my gosh. Then I'm adding another slanted roof, which this one I actually did like, just for the top though. The only part in the build where the architecture is kind of variated, however you say that, oh no, that's gonna bug me for a while though. I'm using another terracotta here. Didn't like that, changed it to wool. Didn't like that, decided to go for the painting method, which did not fit at all. And I just ended up using some trapdoors and sea lanterns, and then going back to that terracotta with some slabs to make it less apparent that it's terracotta, and just some colorful blocks on the end. And I decided to use paintings again. What am I doing? I don't like those paintings. They don't fit the mood at all. And now I'm using paintings again because I just can't learn that paintings are ugly. I'm sorry, Mojang. They're ugly. So I used moss for some more vegetation, and then you'll see me later adding some vines for that moss, because I believe there were some plants along the balconies of the apartments. Even though I am not adding balconies, it is, plants are very important in civilization, so decided to add those. In here, this is me just mostly covering up pretty much all the levers that I use for all the trapdoors just to flick them up. Forgetting that, concrete, powdered concrete has gravitational properties, so that just fell down. I don't know what the wiring trader's doing, but right now, almost done with this build, actually. The whole front, I think, is done. Now, all I'm doing is right now just trying to focus on this last part, the final stretch, trying to stay focused. Wandering Trader's not helping, but we push and, admiring my work for a little bit. Thinking, brainstorming, how do I texture this back? I decided to go for using the lanterns to my advantage and just gating them off, using the frog lights as kind of like an indented light, maybe part of the power plant or whatever, and then covering the levers with kind of a broken, rundown gate, exit, entrance, whatever, using the warped fences over there with the frog lights, and then going ahead and adding a big vent on the back because, like I said before, we love our vents here. Here I'm adding one of those bigger vents with some rails on top to kind of represent the vent a little bit more, adding a, not really, I don't know what it's called, adding a campfire for smoke, which I forgot what it's called, like a funnel to let out all the gases, the harmful gases or whatever, from the enclosed space. I put some more sea lanterns back there, replaced the stuff that I broke, and yeah. Now I'm just finishing up the last bit of the building, and we can go ahead and work on the road. As you can see, I added some vines there on the building and a couple details in the back just to make it not look so bland and boring compared to the rest of the building. There's the vines there. I put some string under them so the vines would not grow to unreasonable extents. And I don't know what I was thinking with that road, but this road really took me a while for how small it is. Just a lot of indecision and some very questionable color choices with that yellow. But I ended up using tiled deep slate for the sidewalk, the walkway, and the classic white stripes down the middle like you see in pretty much every road nowadays, with white concrete powder and white concrete just to add a light gradient, not too much. I ended up going for black concrete, Old Faithful, and then changed up the side for some stairs, and then did the same with the other side, the stairs, and then 3 wide sidewalk. And now I also had a good amount of trouble trying to figure out how to terraform this. I just ended up breaking a bunch of blocks. And then once more, I had trouble with this street lamp, this kind of overhanging light to light up the road. And I used soul lamps because they match more the building. And I just ended up going on the internet, and I found a pretty nice lamppost that I decided to use in my world. Just a couple hoppers, anvils, and then of course I could utilize the soul lamps. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we are done here. And now it's time for the glamour shots. Thank you guys for watching all the way through, and I really hope that you truly enjoyed the video, and I really hope to do this again soon. Please like so that I can, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.